Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Televised Podcast. My name is Anna, and today we're going to be talking about everything that happened regarding Supergirl, episode 502. It was a very, very cool episode. It's called Stranger Beside Me, and I'm really excited to get into everything. This one might be a long one because the notes that I have written out are pretty long, but hopefully it won't be like super long. I don't know, we'll figure it out. But first, really quick, I just want to say that Batwoman episode 2 was so good. It was so good, guys. Like, if you're not watching Batwoman, trust me, you need to be watching Batwoman. And since we're a week out from the pilot, I feel like I can kind of like say a little spoiler because it definitely makes the show more interesting for me. And that Alice is Kate's sister, which I thought that was so cool. That was such a good twist. They have such a cool dynamic. I think personally, Alice is shaping up to be one of the best Arrowverse villains, like literally ever. And I'm just really excited to see how her story unfolds. I'm really excited. And I loved, everything that Ruby did. She was really good. I think next episode we're finally going to get the suit reveal, which, will be super cool. I'm really excited because right now she's been running around looking like an egg in Gotham in Bruce's costume. And it's been a time for sure, but the episode was great. I loved it. I think it really found its own identity, like, because people were talking about how the first episode kind of had an identity crisis where it's like, well, are you Arrow? Are you Batwoman? Are you Batman? Like, what kind of show is this? And I think now episode 2 kind of really solidified that for me, what Batwoman kind of really is, which is pretty much a family drama. Like, it's family. All of it is family drama. Like, Kate has drama with her dad, like all of it. It's all about Kate's relationships within her family and then also, with the people around her. And it's really cool. It's a great show. I really love it. I'm really glad that it's, the newest addition to the Arrowverse. It's really awesome. Also, I live in Chicago, so seeing Chicago as Gotham is amazing always. I kind of freak out a little bit. And they use it so much. I'm like, oh my God, they were only here for like a weekend, but they have so many shots of Chicago. It looks amazing. And I know that some of those scenes that they filmed where they're like inside Kate's dad's apartment and you can see out the window like the John Hancock building, I know that those were filmed in a studio in Vancouver. Like, I know that. But it looks like Chicago. Like, the green screen on that is amazing. So, kudos to Batwoman. Love that show. If you're not watching, you should definitely check it out. It is totally worth getting to the TV an hour before Supergirl 4. It's a good time. It really is. It's a great time. So, now we're going to actually get into the Supergirl episode. I'm going to do it like I did last time. People, didn't seem to mind how I did it, so I'm going to kind of break it down by character, what happens, and then I'm going to, go into some theories and stuff. Overall, I thought the episode was really solid. I really liked it. We'll talk about Lena at the end because I have a lot of opinions about Lena, but I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see where this goes. I don't know where it's going to go. I mean, I have some ideas, but, obviously I have no idea, what the hell the writers are thinking at this point, but, we'll see. Remember, though, if you're freaking out, because I know a lot of people are freaking out, like, Lena's going to be evil, like, what is happening, all of this stuff. If you're freaking out, just remember that this time last year, around episode 2 or 3, I can't remember, this time last year, Lena had Adam in the lab for testing and she killed him. So, what can we do about that? But I just have a feeling that Lena is not going to be evil. That's just my preface that I have, I guess. So here we go. It was Stranger Beside Me for this episode. And I'm going to start with James because he didn't have a lot to do this episode. Basically, all he did was announce, kind of, not to the public, but to, like, us, that he's going to run for senator, potentially, which is interesting. And obviously, if he wins, that could be his out for, the show and all of that. He could, he would be in DC, like that's why he's not in National City anymore, all of that stuff. So I think it's really smart. I think it's a cool way of honoring his character if that becomes his out, because the last thing that I want is for them to kill him off. Like that is the last thing that I want, because it's harmful, and we don't need to kill off any people of color from this show because we're severely lacking in them. But yeah, so he hung around with Kelly and John, which I'll talk about later, but pretty much the big bombshell for James was that he's maybe going to run for senator, and he had some kind of offer from the Smithsonian, but they really honed in on the senator one. So I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued for sure. So then we have Andrea Rojas, who she keeps getting more villainous. Like, I just don't like her. Personally, I hate Andrea Rojas. Like, I hate her. I despise her character. Like, I think she's the worst. And I know I'm supposed to feel that way. But, I know a lot of people, they're like, oh, she's hot, so, we're going to give her a pass. But I just cannot stand her. But here we go. So Obsidian Tech is playing an ad over the news, and that gets Kara so mad, but I feel like that's metaphorical of Andrea Rojas herself, just inserting obsidian into everything, trying to make it, because this lady in the beginning of the episode almost gets hit by a car because she's too busy, I don't know, having her AirPods. She literally was the meme of oh my god, she has AirPods and she can't hear us. Literally, that was that. It was actually kind of funny. But then Supergirl, saved the day. It was really awesome. It was a great, superhero moment. I love when they start the show like that, because then, you just get, this little hopeful, little comic-y kind of bit, where Kara gets to save somebody, and it's not a fight for her life kind of thing, But then we have Andrea Rojas getting very mad that Kara is not at Catco. She's like, you are late. Do not be late. We can finally get started because you're here. And she assigns Kara this fashion article about who wore what to her own party. She's like, it'll be really meta. And Kara's like, nah, I don't want to do that. I'm more of a hard-hitting journalist. And Andrea's like, I know you want a Pulitzer. I understand. I hear you. But I want to see how low you can go. Which I think was obviously really just her way of being like, Kara, write this damn article. I'm going to give you this kind of fluff piece, and you're going to deal with it. That's just how it's going to be. And then she says, all right, well, can I do 2 pieces then? Can I do a hard-hitting senator piece and then this fashion thing? And Andrew's like, sure, just get them to my desk, both of them, before noon. So then Kara goes out on Supergirl duty, cannot get the articles done. So Andrea demotes Kara basically to editor, a staff editor. And Kara then gives her work to William, which was really funny. Oh, and then we see Andrea at L-Corp. Andrea gets wind that a user's pair of the contacts, the obsidian contacts, they are broken. They've been broken. So she gets an alert. And so then she sees the number or the user ID or whatever, and she's like, oh, I know who that is. And so she goes to L-Corp, and she's like, Lena, you're messing with my tech. You're trying to steal my technology. I will, you owe me an article. You owe me a story because you didn't come through that last time. You owe me a story, and if you do this again, you will be the story. You will no longer owe me. You will be the story. Which I thought that was really scary. I was like, damn, Andrea. Oh my god. And she even implies that Lena is addicted to her technology. She's like, I know how much time you spend in there, in this VR, in the simulations, and most likely she knows what the simulations are as well. At least in my opinion. I think that she probably knows what Lena's dealing with, maybe, but maybe not either. I don't know. And then she cuts Lena off. So she's like, you know what? You broke your pair of contacts. Well, I'm not getting you a new one. I don't care. You owe me, and I'm mad at you, and you tried to steal my technology. So, F you. Basically, is what happened. It was a really kind of a scary sight to see because, Lena is always the one doing the intimidating in these situations. She is always the one. Like, think about Morgan Edge. Like, think about what happened in season 3 with Morgan Edge where, Lena was, threatening him with a gun and, like, doing all this crazy stuff and threatening him and all of this stuff, being the, big bad boss and being a badass. And then now it's like Lena, she was, like, getting totally yelled at by Andrea, fully flipping the sides, It was really interesting to see her in that position. It was kind of sad, in a way. So then we have William Day. He just is an asshole to Kara all the time. That's it. He just is an asshole all the time to Kara, and I wish that he would stop that. I wish that he would stop. Oh my god, he just, he's such an asshole. And then we see him looking at pictures of Andrea with somebody else, and I know. This isn't even a theory, this is just something that I know. Like, I'm so confident that it's gonna happen that I'm just gonna say that this isn't even a theory, like, this is just facts. Is that William is a double agent. He is working for Andrea, obviously at Catco, but he's actually doing a hard-hitting piece of journalism on Andrea to try and expose Andrea and Obsidian and the evil doings that they're doing. I have a feeling that is going to happen, 100%. That's the only reason why I could think that he was looking at pictures of Andrea meeting with somebody, And so then he sees Kara looking at those pictures and he's like, oh shit, god damn it, Kara, why'd you have to look? So then he sees that Kara is on the phone and it looks like she's calling about these pictures to somebody. And he's like, well, I got a follower. So he assigns this guy to, like, follow Kara, and then he goes to the sewer. He follows Kara to the sewer, and guess who he doesn't find there? Kara. He finds Supergirl. Connect the dots. I'm sure he will. I'm sure he's going to connect the dots very easily. So then he, follows Kara, and then we see him at work being an asshole to Kara again because he rewrote her article, and Kara stands up to him and is like, hey, buddy, don't do my work anymore. But then she's like, well, you want to do my work so bad, so why don't you do this editing stuff? Ha, gotcha. And it's, just feels like another throwaway moment between the two of them where you're like, I get it. They hate each other. They butt heads. They're not the same. Gotcha. And then at the end, we see that he volunteers at a soup kitchen. Even though earlier in the episode he said, do I look like a charitable guy to you? So obviously I think, again, it's all part of this ruse that he has to be this awful, confident, cocky, snarky, awful jerk at work, at his undercover job. But then he is actually a good person, which I'm sure we'll find out very soon. But I don't mind his character. I mean, everybody online that I've seen is, like, super, super freaking out about the potential of a romance between him and Kara. But again, I think we all need to calm down about that as well. They mentioned that he had a wife. I don't know. Okay, we know that wives don't do much to stop the Supergirl writers from pairing people together. But I hope that they really don't go that direction with them, because in this episode, he really reminded me of Mon-El 2.0, and I cannot stand that. I cannot deal with another Mon-El. I can't deal with another Caramel. I can't do it. I'll quit. I don't care. I'm just exhausted of the writers putting Kara with terrible people. Like, honestly, if Brainy and Nia, like, weren't a thing, I would want, like, I'd be like all the Kara docs, like, weirdos who are always like, well, Brainy and Nia didn't happen in the comics. Well, neither did a lot of stuff. But, honestly, Brainy's like the only guy that I would be like, oh, that'd be cute, like Kara and him, because he's like a good person. They never put Kara with good people. Everybody's always a terrible person. Mon-El, James is not the best person in the world. Like, I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. I hope not. Let's just leave it at that. I hope that they don't go there. But you know what I mean? I'm willing to like give it a shot if he is a good person. But Jesus, it just today or yesterday in that episode, Sunday's episode, it really made me think of Carmel. I was like, oh God. Anyway, to Brainy now and Nia. I love them. I love them. I love them so much. They are the most adorable couple that I have ever seen. I love these hets. Like the breakfast, like Brainy made her a breakfast like burrito, and she was so happy. Like she was literally so happy, and it was so cute. And Brainy was just so thrilled to make Nia so happy. Like it was just, for him, like that was everything that he ever needed. Like, you know what I mean? He was so happy, and it was so sweet. And then he keeps doing it, and she's like, what the hell? So we see that Brainy delivers like 32 boxes of sushi to Nia's desk at work for lunch, and he's like, Brainy, this is not it. And Kara eats some, which was so cute. And then but then later in the episode, then we see Nia getting pizzas delivered to her to Catco, and she's like, Brainy, this is not right. This is not it. I don't want this. Stop it. She's like, it's cute, but I cannot eat all of this stuff, and you don't need to keep buying me this stuff. And Brainy's like, well, okay. So then he's like, she gets home from work, and he's there in her apartment already, dressed like a poet or something, and he's gonna read her poetry. And we see her like get in bed, like trying to roll over and go to bed, kind of looking exhausted from Brainy. And like, I know that Nia's like feeling suffocated by him, but like it's just because he's never done this before, and Nia reacted so positively to that breakfast that he was just like, well, I need to make her feel like that all the time. Duh. He was like, this is what being in a relationship is like. You gotta like pamper each other or whatever. So it was just really cute. I really liked, I love the two of them together. So I'm really excited to see them kind of deal with that, because, communication is not their strong suit. I mean, Nia's communicating, but like Brainy just doesn't like receive the signals. So hopefully they get it together. And then I want to talk about Alex and Kelly. And Kelly does incredible things this episode. Like, she's literally so smart. She's so incredible. Her helping Jean was like everything times 2. And, it was really cool to see how much she believes in Obsidian, and to see how much Obsidian is doing good. You know what I mean? Like, their technology is being used for good. I just don't think that Andrea or the company is good. You know what I mean? Like, because Kelly is clearly finding incredible ways to help people with this technology that she has access to, and that she's able to help people with. And it was really cool to see, because then it kind of makes the case for Obsidian, where you're like, well, I mean, like, it's doing good things. So can we really say that it's evil, or, whatever? So I think that was really awesome to see. And it was really cool to see, her helping Jean, and that was really sweet. And the cute breakfast scene, that was very sweet. Alex made blueberry pancakes, but she does not know that Kelly is deathly allergic to blueberries. And she kind of realizes that, shit, I don't know much about Kelly, and that is scary, because I really, really like Kelly. So she's kind of like, well, kind of feeling that fear of something is happening, and like somebody is coming into my life, and they're really like worming their way into my heart, and I don't know how to deal with it, really. When did this happen? She says to Brainy, she's like, when did this happen? When did I start to like Kelly so much? And we need to get to know each other. And it was very sweet. Well, it was it was really scary when Jean's brother, I'm gonna butcher this name, Malefek. It's got a lot of A's and a lot of apostrophes. When Jean's brother pretended to be Kelly, Alex was like, oh, okay, this is Kelly. And then he touched her, and she was like, this is not Kelly. And that was really cool, like, to see Alex, and as Alex even says later, she's like, when he touched me, I knew that it wasn't you. Like, I knew. And on the rooftop, I knew that was my Kelly. Like, that was so sweet. It was a really cool moment for them at the end of the episode, to kind of Kelly offering Alex her own EpiPen, like, to keep at her house, which is so huge. Like, when somebody like trusts you to have their medicine, or like their, they see you as an important person in their lives. Like, that was so sweet. And like a list of all the things she's allergic to, and she was allergic to cats, which is very funny. Same girl, like, I hate cats. And then we had Alex versus Kara, which was really interesting because it wasn't Alex, but it was interesting to see them like fight, because I know that we all freaked out a bit when the set pictures came out, and we're like, why are Melissa and Kyler fighting? Like, why are Alex and Kara fighting? And but it was really cool to actually see them kind of go head to head, even though obviously it was not Alex. And then Kelly got a bridal carry, which was very cool, very, very sweet. It was really cool. It was a really sweet moment. And then we have Jean and Malefek. His brother caused him immense pain, which they then share after their head-to-head in Jean's like detective agency, which was really interesting. And we see that his brother is working with white Martians, and that he also worked with them on Mars, and he was a traitor to his own people. He was a traitor to the Green Martians on Mars, which was really interesting to see, because like, I don't know, it was just interesting to see that he would use his own power to like hurt his people. Like, he mind wiped Jean, like he wiped Jean's memory, and he would do that to so many other of the Green Martians to get this leg up for the white Martians. And it was really cool though to hear about Jean's telling of this Martian war, because we always just hear like little bits and pieces of it and stuff like that. So it was really interesting to see that in the show, or to like hear about it directly, you know what I mean? And it was really, really cool to see his mind palace, that it was just his office, but then with a Martian door on it. It was very cool to see him and Kelly in there. And then we have Kara and how she struggles with her reporter side and the life balance that she's trying to find. I think it's really cool that we're finally seeing some like conflict with her reporter, like with her Kara Danvers side. Because I think everybody thought that after her winning the Pulitzer, her reporting life would get much easier and her Supergirl life would probably get a lot harder. But currently, as she believes it, her Supergirl life is super easy, but her Kara Danvers life is very difficult because of Andrea Rojas. And at the beginning of the episode, it made me really sad to hear that Kara was like, I feel so much lighter now that Lena knows. Like, I feel so much lighter. I feel so happy. I feel like I can do anything. I'm like, baby, you don't know the half of it. Like, it's just so, the dramatic irony is painful. It is very painful. But I also loved to see Kara stand up against Andrea again and William in this episode. It's really, really nice to see her have a backbone, because against like people like Snapper Carr, people like Kat, people like Monel. She had a hard time standing up for herself. So it's really cool to see that development and that growth. I know I talked about that last episode, but it is really cool to see her develop and to see her grow into this very confident, woman who is not afraid to know her worth or to stand up for herself in that way. So that was really cool. I really love to see that. So here we go. We're going to talk about Lena. So when we first see Lena, we hear Hope, her AI, say, Miss Luther, it's morning, or whatever she said. And Lena was like, morning already? Oh my God. Like, implying that she'd been working all night, like she's losing track of time. She is already, I think, driving herself kind of insane. And then Hope and Lena talk about a new system that she's creating, which is named Do No Harm, but in Irish. The name means do no harm, and it is creating a human based on morality, empathy, and logic. None of the betrayal, lies, or anything that anybody, she wants to erase betrayal and lying from humanity, basically. She wants to reprogram humans to not hurt each other, basically, which I understand. Reprogramming people, not good. But it is a noble cause. You have to admit that her motives, like what she wants to do is very noble, and it obviously stems from her deep trauma. Like, Lena needs help. Like, Lena needs therapy. She needs help. She has very, very much kind of gone off the deep end, but not like in an evil way. Like, she's doing the kind of the same thing that she's always done, where she's trying to help humanity and she's trying to save humanity. She's trying to help people, but she's just doing it in a much more invasive, I guess, and like aggressive way, but not even really aggressive, just like trying to take away people's autonomy, which is obviously a big no-no. And so as we find out, she was the one that stole Eve. I knew it. I've been saying that since like first time we heard that clip, but it was to Eve. She stole Eve and she began mapping her brain. And then we got some Eve backstory, which was very cool, about how Leviathan, which she would not name, but we all know that it was Leviathan, recruited her when she was 16 years old. She needed money, all of this stuff. And she was like, I just said yes, and now they own my soul, and I cannot tell you about them because they will kill me, and then they'll kill you. Like, I'm trying to protect you, Lena. I had no choice but to betray you. And Lena was like, no, you had a choice. You always have a choice. Like, Lena is just like really, really caught up on all of this betrayal, like, and that's why she wants to eradicate that from human beings. And so then at the end of the episode, she reprograms Eve and puts Hope, her AI, into her body. She puts Hope into Eve's body. It was crazy. It was, oh my God, it was so hard to watch. And she does it with tears in her eyes, as if she knows that what she's doing is wrong, but she just can't stop. Like, or she was just mourning, like, the Eve that she used to know. Like, I don't know. It's just everything about Lena, like, this episode was just so perplexing. But I do have a couple theories, so I'm going to get into those, I think, right now. So I really think that maybe Hope is controlling Lena. Maybe Hope did the exact same thing to Lena that Lena just did to Eve, but on a smaller scale. Like, Hope is just worming her way into Lena's brain to try and change her thoughts and to change her actions. Because really, like, why would Lena put Hope into Eve. Like, her experiment wasn't to test if she could put her AI into a person. Like, her experiment was to locate the lying and the bad parts of the brain to try and like erase them. And that's what she had told Hope in the first place. So, why would Lena take the time and like kind of waste a subject in a way to put Hope, her AI, into a person? Like, why would she do that? And so it kind of doesn't make sense. I mean, I guess if she just wanted an assistant, like with hands, that is loyal, like, I guess that makes sense. But wouldn't it make more sense for Lena to try and test on Eve to see if she could reprogram humans? Not put an AI in them, but if she could just reprogram them to, not have the capacity to lie, to have bad thoughts or whatever she's trying to get rid of. So I think that Hope is controlling Lena because who benefits the most from having Hope inside a body other than Hope? Like, Hope literally, would want a body so that she could have full autonomy, and that makes her more dangerous. Like, I don't know, just the way that Lena was crying when she was doing it, it's almost as if she was not fully in control of what she was doing or of what she was doing to Eve. Especially because, again, Hope would need a body to be autonomous. Like, she couldn't do anything when she was just a mere suggestion in Lena Luthor's ear. Now she has a body. Now she's got hands. Now she can do stuff, which is really scary. And this all kind of works in with that quote that Kara will fight for Lena's soul this season, because I think that Hope is corrupting her soul. Like, she's already... Because people were pointing out last night, they were like, Lena's so out of character this episode. Like, she would never do this. She would never, And I'm like, well, what if that's the point? What if we're supposed to notice that Lena is acting very out of character? Like, she wouldn't do that. So maybe we're supposed to be like, yeah, Lena would never react that way. Or Lena would never, hurt Eve that way. Lena would never do this. To be like, well, what is going on with Lena then? Because I think, again, I just don't think that they're going to make Lena evil. Like, I don't think so. I think that would be such a disservice to her character at this point. And it would be such a disservice to the show at this point. And I think they know that, Lena Luthor has a really big fan base, and not that they'd like lose viewers or anything, but that people would be really mad if they mishandled this character. So I don't know. I just think that she's already kind of wormed her way into Lena's mind. And I also have this theory that, like, since Eve was involved with Leviathan, I think that maybe Hope is tied to Leviathan. Because Lena, I believe, we don't really know where Hope came from or how Lena created Hope, but I believe that she created Hope either using the technology from the contacts, which would kind of make sense why Andrea Rojas was very, very mad, using that kind of technology, I don't know, manipulating it and like taking inspiration from it, because Hope works, in tandem with the contacts. So obviously Hope is synced to the Obsidian server. So, and we think, at least I think, that Obsidian is very heavily tied to Leviathan, and we got set pictures of the actress who plays Andrea Rojas talking to that lady from the finale last year, the Leviathan lady. So obviously, she's got some sort of connection to Leviathan. And so I think that is very likely that Hope coerced Lena into reprogramming Eve, because that way Leviathan would not have to worry about Eve. It was basically like killing Eve without actually killing Eve. You know what I mean? Like, getting rid of all of her knowledge of Leviathan. She was so scared of Leviathan. Like, why mention that? Why say that to Lena if they weren't a huge threat? Why plant that seed in the beginning of the episode if it wasn't going to kind of come back? And I feel like Hope has some connection to Leviathan through this obsidian technology, who I believe is connected to Leviathan. So I genuinely think that Leviathan basically used Hope to manipulate Lena and try and coerce Lena and kind of not take over, but, you know, I think she's kind of mapping Lena as well, like without her knowledge, and storing this away. And so then they used that power that they have over Lena to basically get rid of Eve, to get rid of somebody who knows all their secrets, who's gone rogue, who they want to take out, basically. You know, it's like tying up a loose end. So I don't know. I hope that that's kind of what's going on, because I think that that's a really cool storyline, but that's just me. And I think that honestly, like, this is gonna be like either the once and for all Lena proves that she's not like her family, or the season will end very tragically for Lena. And I obviously hope that it's the former. I hope that, you know, she finally realizes that she is nothing like her family and that she is a hero, because she saved the day so many freaking times. Never gotten a thank you. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just think that, you know, Hope has genuinely like started to affect her subconscious and implanting ideas, and she's been losing track of time probably because of this, and she's mapping Lena, all this stuff. So I don't know. I just don't, like I said, I think this is their way of writing evil Lena without actually making Lena evil. So hopefully that's true. I don't know. I hope that's true. But I really liked this episode. I really thought that it was really good. I liked it a lot. I don't know. Obviously the twist with Lena just made my jaw like drop. Like last night when I was watching this episode, my jaw fell to the floor. I was like, "What?" Like screaming at my TV, like, "What are you talking about?" Because that was just insane. That was totally a plot twist that I did not see coming. I don't know. I was just like, "Holy shit." Like, that is crazy. So I don't know. I don't know what to think. I'm very nervous about Lena, about what's going on with her, about all of this stuff with Leviathan, all of this stuff with Andrea, like, because I genuinely feel like for the first time we have a genuine threat to Lena. Like, she's obviously in a very, very, very vulnerable state. And I feel like Andrea and Leviathan and Hope and all of those things, Obsidian, all of that combined, you know, makes for a big mess for Lena. Honestly, it really does, because, you know, she's very emotional. She's very, 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 very emotional, and she's trying hard to get rid of that, but she's very affected by all of this. So I think that she was the perfect target, honestly, for this, because she's so damaged right now that she just can't, she wouldn't notice. Like, she's so hyper focused on this that I think Hope could easily be mapping her brain. Hope could easily be manipulating her. So I hope that's all it is. But, you know, again, we never know with the Supergirl writers. But I did really like it. So, oh, and then I loved that at Comic-Con, Melissa was like, "Oh, it's a bowl of Rocky Road ice cream." The dynamic between Kara and Lena this season. And then in this episode, she was like, "Yeah, here's your neighbor's melted Rocky Road ice cream." I thought it was really funny. I thought that was a really funny, like, callback, little Easter egg kind of thing that Melissa was dropping at Comic-Con. So that was really cool. And then next episode looks like a freaking spooky one. I hate spiders, so it's gonna be a trip. But it looks really interesting. This villain, looks like she seduces men and then gets her spider tattoo to hurt them and, like, give them tattoos on their heart, but it's just a spider, like, it just crawled in them, which is really gross and creepy. But I'm really excited. I'm really excited for this one, especially since Ozzy tweeted this. The tweet was from July 29th, and she said, "Today is the coolest day on set, and I can't wait for you guys to find out why." And she said yesterday, she said, "This tweet was about next week's episode 3, and I can't wait for you guys to see why." I'm very intrigued. I'm very intrigued to see what happens with that, because at the time, a lot of us were like, Vancouver Pride was like right around then, and we're like, well, maybe it's like a Pride episode, so that'd be really fun. But I definitely think that I am Boo Boo the Fool for thinking that. I don't think that's gonna happen. I feel like it's probably, maybe there was like a costume party. That would be really cool. Like if it's a Halloween kind of episode. So maybe, Kara has like a costume party for this episode and they all get to dress up in like fun costumes. That would be really fun. Maybe there's like a girls' night. I don't know. We saw the pictures. There was stills released from this episode that showed like Kara and Lena hanging out at Lena's place. We saw stuff like that. I don't know what to think. I'm kind of curious to see what happens with this next episode. I'm trying really hard not to get my hopes up about any kind of like crazy, ridiculous stuff that could happen. But again, we all did kind of at the time believe that maybe it would be something Pride related, but I just don't think so. So I think that's it. That's all I got for you guys this week. I hope that you enjoyed the episode this week. Let me know. I know that it was a very, very mixed reaction from people. People were either kind of pissed. It was very much a season 3 vibe on the timeline last night, where people were like pretty pissed. I'm like, okay. Which it's because it's been really nice. The overall reaction to Supergirl lately has been so nice. From fans and stuff, and to see the storyline go in this direction is a little bit worrying, just because, people get so upset about, things being done to Lena and Lena potentially going evil. So it's now it's going to be a very mixed reaction again. But hopefully you guys stick around. I know I'm going to, even if it goes to shit. I'll still be here, but I'll be complaining for sure. If I had this during season 2, I would have just been ranting about Mon-El for like an hour. I used to just like do that to my sister. I'd make her listen, but I would have ranted to you guys. So hopefully it doesn't go back to that, because I've really enjoyed the show last season and then into this season as well. So I'm really excited about it. Again, keep in mind it is only episode 2, so no need to worry about all kinds of like endgamey stuff, because literally only episode 2. We have so much room, for things to develop. But one of my mutuals pointed out last night, they were like, this season feels like it's going really, really fast. Like the storyline, I mean. Because normally in the beginning of the season, they'll have a couple like filler episodes and, like they won't dive into the main plot right away. But, last night we saw Lena just fully put Hope into a body. We saw Hope go into Eve. And I did not expect that for the second episode of the season. But obviously they have to fast track everything because of Crisis. There is a crisis coming. So, it's a bit worrying on that front. So I hope you guys... Oh, really quick though. The ratings for Sunday's episode were a bit soft. They're a bit soft. So if you have a minute, or, you just feel like rewatching, you can go on the CW's app and rewatch, and it will count, like, it will help the show a lot. You can also, if you DVR'd it, like if you recorded it on your TV, you can watch that again, and that will help the ratings as well. But one thing to make sure to do is to live tweet with the hashtag Supergirl during the episode, because the CW, according to a lot of people and even some Legends of Tomorrow stars have said this, that the CW doesn't really care all that much about ratings, but they do look at streams on the app, they do look at DVR, and they look at tweets during the episode. So the more tweets that a show has, they're like, oh, the more people are interested in it. So I would, if I do it every week, but, live tweet the show with the hashtag Supergirl every Sunday, and it draws some cool people to, your page and to your tweets. Like, I've had writers like my tweets before and stuff, so they definitely see that stuff, and that's also the easiest way to, like, voice your opinion. Like, if you are really, really passionate about Lena not going evil during the episode, like, tweet that shit out with the hashtag, and maybe they'll see it. Maybe they will respond. But that is how they gauge the reactions. So I would use that if I were you. And then you can also go on IMDb, rate the episode. Definitely, give it you don't have to give it a good rating, but just be honest, And so hopefully you guys enjoy next week's episode. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. If you did, you can rate on iTunes. And it was really cool to see that there are 3 ratings on iTunes, which is just so freaking cool. It made me so happy, and like, thank you to whoever that was who took the time to, like, rate the podcast. It really made me happy. So if you could do that, I guess it helps I guess, like, show that people are interested in my podcast. So if you could do that, that'd be really cool. You could also follow me on Spotify, like, subscribe, whatever, on YouTube. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think, what your theories are, what you think of my theories. So I hope you guys enjoy the next episode, and I will see you next week. Bye.